Why would God cure cancer but let it happen in the first place? I ask this with all due respect, especially since my mother died of cancer, so did my sister, and my brother is currently going through cancer treatment right now through chemotherapy and radiotherapy. And I hope this video can help anybody out there that may be dealing with cancer in one way or another, either themselves or their relatives, and especially if they feel like life is being unfair, or worse yet, if they think that God might be punishing them for having cancer. And the reason why I'm even asking this question in the first place is because of a conversation I had with one of my closest friends whose brother is currently going through stage 4 cancer in the liver. And somehow his brother is beating the odds, which is great. However, considering that his doctors can't explain why his brother is surviving, my friend believes it's got to be God and prayers that are helping his brother beat the cancer. And I asked my friend to consider that logic. Why would God cure your brother's cancer but let him get it in the first place? For that matter, why would God pick and choose to let your brother survive but allow my mother and my sister to die from cancer, especially considering all the prayers that my family, we're making for them? And for that matter, why would God allow thousands of innocent children every year to die from cancer? And of course, my friend didn't have an answer for that. And that's because he and other religious people refuse to accept that there is no God giving anybody cancer, and much less curing a select few people with cancer. God is just a concept, and a dangerously flawed one at that. People have invented countless gods for thousands of years, from Zeus to Apollo to Ganesh to so many others that have already been lost to history. Now, I know I'm not the first nor the last person to state that there is no God, but it bears worth repeating as often as possible. And the reason is because you can't solve problems in life with myths and falsehoods, and much less problems like cancer. And thanks to people who don't settle for lies or simplistic views of reality, we do know why cancer happens, and enough people have done the hard work and the research to even stop certain types of cancer altogether. That's why so many people can survive cancer nowadays. What I'm willing to bet that religious people have a hard time accepting about reality is that it most likely all boils down to just a constant chaotic collision of atoms, where there probably is no grand reason why anything happens in the first place and everything exists just because. And for people who can't seem to wrap their heads around the fact that maybe everything exists just because, consider the fact that religious people think exactly that, but about God. They believe that nothing created God and that there's no reason why God exists. He just always existed and always will, ipso facto. And that is about the most accurate instinct that both atheists and religious people share in common. The instinct to simply accept that everything exists just because. The big difference is intention. Religious people insist there is a purpose to everything, including the most horrible things, such as cancer, while atheists are more than willing to bet there is no singular purpose or meaning to life. However, that doesn't mean you can't have purpose or meaning in your life, especially when it comes to caring for loved ones who have cancer. And that's the irony, that we can actually find purpose and meaning in a most likely purposeless universe. And that's quite difficult for most people to process, which I believe is why religions and gods are so much easier to believe in. While I can't and don't say with 100% certainty that there is no singular purpose to all of existence, what I can and often need to rule out with 100% certainty are falsehoods, especially the ones that are so demonstrably wrong that they're not worth wasting my time on, especially the ones that could get me killed. For example, I can say with 100% certainty that the Earth is not flat. We can also say with 100% certainty that every parent is older than their children. But I get it. Certain aspects of reality are a lot harder to distinguish between being true or false. After all, reality is counterintuitive to our limited senses, which is why there was a time that so many people simply assumed the Earth was flat and still as they looked around the environment. But thanks to people who thought a little deeper, humanity discovered that the Earth was not only round, but it spins at 1,000 miles per hour while orbiting the sun at a further neck-breaking speed of 26,000 miles per hour. And thanks to truly brilliant minds that didn't accept miracles for answers, we've landed people on the moon instead of worshiping it nowadays. And to really drive home the importance of ruling out falsehoods, When it was discovered that my sister had a tumor in her brain, the doctors had to be very sure about that before drilling a hole in her skull to remove it. And consider, not even 1,000 years ago, while so many people still believed the earth was flat, there were people who would have holes drilled through their skulls to let out demons with a process called trepanning. This is why it's so important to think things through and to not settle for falsehoods when it comes to aspects about reality that we don't understand or have a hard time accepting. Because that's how problems get solved and people's lives get saved. You are always better off choosing reason and reality over religion and miracles, especially when it comes to achieving peace of mind when dealing with things that we can't entirely control or even understand, such as cancer. Anyway, hope all this information helps in one way or another. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel, and check out the links down below to purchase prints of my art or even this very original drawing I've been doing all along. And thanks for watching.